Yes, I think that moving embassies from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem is going to make an impact, a positive impact on the peace process, because it will enable us to move forward with the peace process based on reality and not on dreams and wishful thinking. And unfortunately, until now, the Palestinians believe that they can deny Israel from having Jerusalem as its capital, even though it is the capital of Israel for 70 years, and even though it has been the capital of the Jewish people for 3,500 years. So it's this dream has the Palestinians have to wake up from this dream, and the sooner they do, the better the chances are that we shall be able to move towards peace. And because of that, I believe that any country that moves its capital from its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel is contributing to the peace. I think I should clarify to the Palestinians that violence is dangerous and is not helpful. And Israel is trying to convince the Hamas to control the people that are rioting along the fence, and to make sure that they don't damage the fence and don't use violence across the fence, and that they should use the money they have in order to invest in the well-being of the Gazans instead of building offensive tunnels that cross into Israel and arming themselves to the teeth with rockets and other capabilities that they are investing in. So far, it seems that Hamas has deaf ears and doesn't respond to that. And we are now probably will have to go to more decisive reaction to the use of force by Hamas and those dangerous riots, because they are really crossing every day a different level of violence. And we saw this week the rocket launched at Beersheba was just another peak in the ongoing escalation situation. We don't need the escalation, we don't want the escalation, we don't think that the escalation is needed to anybody and is going to benefit anybody. And we hope at the same time that some solution will be found to the differences and the tensions between the different Palestinian factions, so that this will help also paving the road for assistance to the citizens of Gaza, so they will be able to enjoy a better life. And at the same time, give up the idea that they can throw Israel to the sea and replace it with the Palestinians, because this is not going to happen. It's, again, a waste of time for the Palestinians to keep nurturing this idea that they can eventually come up with a solution that doesn't include Israel. Well, in the north, it's not only Hezbollah. Hezbollah is on the front, but behind it, of course, there is Iran. Yeah. And we have to deal with the Iranian threat and with the Hezbollah manifestation of it. We are trying to prevent Iran from turning Syria and Lebanon into a base from which they can threaten Israel. Especially from upgrading the capabilities they have over there, by building an Iranian independent base in Syria, and by providing Hezbollah with precisely guided ammunition to improve its 100,000 more rockets that they already have, and turn them from a statistical weapon into a precisely guided weapon. That's an effort that's going on. Unfortunately, the last developments are probably going to make it more difficult for us to make sure that they don't get it. But nevertheless, Israel is totally committed to keep doing whatever is needed in order to prevent that from happening, including taking action against the efforts of the Iranians to deliver those weapons from Iran through Syria to Lebanon. It has the capability of turning into cause for escalation, especially with the Russians now bringing in the S-300. We hope that this will also coincide with a clear message from Russia to the Iranians to stop trying to use the Syrian soil in order to deliver the weapons to Hezbollah. But we shall have to be on guard to make sure that this is really happening, and if not, to take the necessary action to prevent it. I think the international community should realize that this is an extremely dangerous deal that actually paves the road for the Iranians towards an arsenal, a big arsenal of nuclear weapons in 12 years. And that should not be allowed. I mean, nobody wants them to have it, but if you don't do anything, they are going to have it. So what President Trump has done is trying to convince the Iranians that this road is blocked, and that if they insist on going along this road, they're going to pay a heavy price. The more people come on board with the message of President Trump, the more convincing it is going to be on the Iranian leadership and on the Iranian people. Because much depends on the Iranian people, whether they're going to be ready to suffer on the way to the bomb, or whether they're going to say, no, there's no justification for this suffering. And we are seeing the difficulties that the Iranian people is going through because of what the Iranian regime does, its insistence of having this path towards nuclear weapons paved in front of him. And the more the Iranian people get convinced that the international community is not going to play this game, the better it is. We see that the Americans have managed to convince many companies to stop doing business with Iran. And this is good, and we are expecting the new set of sanctions to come into effect in a couple of weeks. And once that happens, everybody is going to looking at Iran to see if it has an impact. And if Australia joins with the American message, I think it's going to make this message much more powerful, and will be very helpful in preventing Iran from having these nuclear weapons and preventing Iran from having its influence on the Middle East and its hegemony on the Middle East. And that's a very important goal, because Iran is a radical force that wants to change the Middle East and to change the world order so that it will be more in line with the Islamic preachings that they believe in. And that is really dangerous for everybody in the world.